Curse of the Boggin. That sounds kind of scary. Ooh, what's going on there? Ooh, what's that? Kind of hard to see. It's all reflective, but it looks pretty cool. Hi, I'm DJ MacHale, author. If you know me, if you know my work, you know that I like to write things. I like to write about the supernatural, and I like to write fantasy, and I like to write adventure. If you don't know me, if you're not familiar with my work, I like to write supernatural, and I like to write adventure and fantasy and that kind of stuff. I'm pretty well known for a TV series that was on for a long time on Nickelodeon called Are You Afraid of the Dark, where we made all sorts of different kinds of spooky stories. I also wrote a trilogy, a supernatural trilogy called Morpheus Road, which is about two guys being hunted by an evil spirit. So I really like writing that kind of stuff. And I think one of the reasons I like to write that stuff is because they're mysteries. Whenever there's a supernatural element involved in a story, a supernatural entity, they want something. Whether it's good or bad, they want something. And it's up to our main characters to try to figure out what that is and solve the mystery. In addition to that, it gives me the opportunity to write all sorts of creative, weird, eerie things in the kind of jeopardy that I can put my characters into. And I always like to write about characters that are really normal people. People that we can either see ourselves in or we recognize, and they get themselves trapped in otherworldly situations that they have to try to figure out how to get out of and solve the mystery. And that's one of the reasons why I like to write supernatural stuff. So let me tell you a little bit about my new series. It's about to be published called The Library. There it is right there. The Library, book number 1. It's a keyhole. It's book number 1 there. Book number 1. What it's about. The premise is that there's this key. In fact, here we go. It kind of looks like that. There's a key. And this key has powers. This key, you can use it on any door. Doesn't matter what door. You use it on any door, and the key will open this door into the library. The library kind of looks like this. It's hard to see because it's kind of reflective. It's a shiny cover, but it's an old-fashioned kind of library with wooden shelves and stacks of books. Now, the thing about this library is that it is filled with unfinished supernatural stories, and they're all true. And they're not really all true. They're all true in the world of the library. They're not true in real life. They're true in my world that I made up. But so in this world, they're all true, but they're unresolved, and they're ghost stories, and they're stories about witches and monsters and all this kind of stuff. But for whatever reason, the people who were caught up in these stories, there wasn't closure. These stories weren't finished. There were unresolved mysteries. So what happens in the series The Library is that our heroes, our main characters, go into the library, and they can actually go into these books and try to solve the mystery and finish the stories. That's what happens in each one of the books, is that our continuing characters try to figure out what is happening in each one of these unique stories, whether it's a ghost story or a vampire or whatever it is, and try to solve and complete the book, at which point the book can go off of the unfinished shelf and can go on to the finished shelf. If you know my other books that I've written, The Pendragon Adventure, yay, Pendragon, or Morpheus Road, which is the supernatural one I talked about, or the Silo Chronicles, you know that those stories all come to an end. Each book is the different chapter in an overall continuing story. And the last book says the end, and it's the end of the story. The library is not going to be like that. The library is more anthological. Anthological. It's not a continuing story. You don't need to read the books in order because each one has their own standalone adventure. Actually, I would recommend reading the first book first. And in fact, if you're seeing this video around the time that I'm recording it and this book comes out, it'll be the only book out, so you don't have any choice. You have to read the first book first. But if you're seeing this video 2 years from now, and there are more books out, make sure you read the first book first, because this is the setup. This is the thing that explains the key and tells you how Marcus gets it, who's our main character, and why he gets it, and all that kind of cool stuff. But after that, you don't have to read the books in order. You can pick up book 3, whatever, pick it up and still get a good beginning, middle, and end. But the thing that ties all the books together are our main characters. Marcus O'Mara is the main character, and his buddies Theo and Lou. They go on these adventures together. So they're in every story. We're going to get to know them. We're going to get to like them, I hope. But then they are going to meet an entirely new cast of characters in each individual book as they try to solve their mysteries. So that's the library. And the first one comes out soon. If you're seeing this, like I said, if you're seeing this video around the time I'm recording it, which is end of August 2016, this book is just about to come out. And so read the first one. If you're seeing this 3 or 4 years from now, you're actually looking into the past. This all happened in the past. It's like a time machine. At this point, no one knows what's going to happen in the library except for me. I know all. I know what's going to happen. So I hope you like it. I only have one request, and that is when you read the book, read it just before bed.